Hello there, dear friends, and welcome once again to the Relaxed Fantasy Review. Today, we're going to be reviewing a subclass of the Warlock, possibly the most popular subclass of the Warlock, straight out of Xanathar's Guide to Everything, the Hexblade. Hexblade's one of the weird ones because it's hard to explain how it works, because Warlocks have pacts. They get magic from entities like, eldritch beings or devils or angels or whatever. This one you get your patron is a living weapon, an entity of a sentient magical weapon, some sort of famous one. That's a little bit odd. The book gives the example of the sword Black Razor, which is a sword that came from the Shadowfell. And I suppose there's other magic weapons from the Shadowfell as well, so it still has a shadowy feel to it, but technically it could be any magic weapon that is sentient. So you could make something up about that one. Now, you don't get to wield the weapon. It is literally your patron and gives you your magic. But you get a lot of cool powers that have to do with weapons and with fighting. So let's have a look, see what you get. First of all, you get an expanded spell list. These spells are not automatically added to your list. They're basically more options for you to choose. And honestly, this one doesn't impress me that much. You get a lot of smites. Wrathful Smite, Branding Smite, Banishing Smite. I'd take Banishing Smite personally, but I wouldn't take mostly Smite spells because you're a Warlock. You only get a couple spell slots per short rest, and using them on a Smite feels like a bit of a waste. You also get Shield, which is normally one of my top spells for any spellcaster, but not for a Warlock. I might have it on my spell list, but I probably wouldn't use it very much unless it was an emergency. It just isn't that great. The spell list, I give it a 6 out of 10 total. It's not useless. You got Phantasmal Killer, Cone of Cold. There's some good stuff here, but honestly, I wouldn't waste your spell slots on smites. It feels like a waste. But also, at first level, you get the Hexblade's Curse. As a bonus action, you curse a creature within 30 feet of you. They're cursed for 1 minute. No saving throw. It just happens. You get a bonus to your damage rolls against the cursed target equal to your proficiency bonus. So if you're Eldritch Blasting them, that's extra damage. Any attack roll you make crits on a 19 or a 20, so you crit twice as often. And if the cursed target dies, you regain hit points equal to your Warlock level plus your Charisma modifier. So it just heals you if you kill the creature you curse. You can use this feature once per short or long rest. So it's kind of like Super Hex. And it's not bad at all. I'd say the Hexblade's Curse is a 9 out of 10 power. It sucks you can only do it once, whereas with Hex, if you concentrate on it, you can move it from target to target. I would have preferred that. But, it's a pretty powerful curse. The other thing you get at first level, and this is the thing most people know the Hexblade for, is the Hex Warrior feature. Normally, Warlocks are proficient with simple weapons and light armor. Hex Warrior gives you medium armor, shields, and martial weapons. So now you can fight with everything except heavy armor at your disposal. You also get to channel your will through a weapon. So this is kind of like an embodiment of your patron. Whenever you finish a long rest, you can touch a weapon that you're proficient with and that isn't a two-handed weapon. When you attack with that weapon, you use your charisma modifier instead of your strength or dex. So if you're using a longsword or if you're using a rapier, you don't have to use your strength or your dexterity modifier. It's all charisma. This benefit lasts until you finish the long rest. Now, this is at level 1, so you get this straight away. If you then, when you get your pact, take the Pact of the Blade feature, you can use two-handed weapons with the Pact of the Blade if your pact weapon is a two-handed weapon. So that just kind of bypasses the restriction on two-handed weapons. If you don't take Pact of the Blade, you're stuck with non-two-handed weapons. But even so, this is a phenomenal power, which means you don't have to worry about your strength or dex. I'd still take some dex points because you want to have a good armor class with light or medium armor. but you get a shield if you want one. You can use two-handed weapons if you take Pact of the Blade. It's all good. And this is the reason people take a dip. One level of Hexblade Warlock, a single level, means any character that focuses on charisma, bards, paladins, sorcerers even. Anyone who uses charisma takes a dip, and they can use their charisma for attacks. That's so broken. It removes any necessity to put any points in strength ever, and to put anything in dex beyond what you need for your armor. This is 10 out of 10. It is the best feature of the Hexblade. But we're not done yet. At level 6, because all that was level 1. At level 6, you get a Cursed Spectre. You can curse the soul of a creature you slay. When you kill a creature, you cause it to rise up as a specter, if you choose to. When it appears, it gains temporary hit points equal to half of your level. It follows your commands, and it remains in your service until your next long rest, and then it vanishes to the afterlife. You can only get one per long rest, so if it dies, you're not going to just make another one. But having a free summon, and a specter is not a bad summon to have. It's a decent creature right out of the monster manual, and I say this is a 9 out of 10 power, having a free summon every time you kill something. Now at level 10, you get Armor of Hexes, and this is why people love to take Hexblade Warlocks higher than level 1. The target that's cursed by your Hexblade curse. And remember, the Hexblade curse has no saving throw. You just choose someone and they're cursed. So you can do this to a boss. If the target tries to hit you and they use an attack roll, you roll a d6. If you roll a 4 or higher, so that's half the time, even if they hit you, they just miss. So 50% of the cursed target's attacks miss you, which means if you use this on a boss, the boss is hitting you half the time that it hits you, and it's not hitting you the rest of the time. Now, this doesn't work on AoEs, it doesn't work on saving throws, but still, if you are just getting hit by a boss that's got like multi-attack or something, this is absolute money. And it works too if you just want to curse a random enemy that's trying to hit you, and now they just can't half the time. It's crazy, and it's 10 out of 10. It's super powerful. Finally, at level 14, you get Master of Hexes. When the creature who's cursed by your Hexblade curse dies, you can apply the curse to a different creature. So this does the hex thing, where you get to move it, instead of just having the one. You don't regain hit points from the death of the previously cursed creature, but at level 14, that's less of an issue. And this just means you have infinite Hexblade's curse as long as there's more creatures around you to curse. Which means that at the higher levels, if you're in a fight with lots of strong enemies, you curse one, now they're missing you more often, you're doing more damage to them, and then as soon as they die, you curse another one, and then they also are taking extra damage and can't hit you as often. It just works even better, and a high-level Hexblade Warlock is so much more powerful. That's another 10 out of 10 ability. Overall, the Hexblade would be a 10 out of 10. I want to give it a 10 out of 10. It's such a good, powerful Warlock. The only thing that is keeping me from it is that spell list. Why smites? Even high-level Warlocks aren't going to waste their spell slots on smites. If it wasn't for that spell list, if they had some better picks that would like enhance a weapon or something and make it magical, or I don't know, if they had anything that would enhance their physical prowess. How about haste? Or slow against an enemy? Or, I don't know, there's got to be things that you could use other than smites. So I give the Hexblade a 9 out of 10 overall. The spell list disappointed me. The rest of the class, 10 out of 10. That spell list just needs some work. This has been the Relaxed Fantasy Review. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe down below, and keep your eyes peeled for more subclass reviews coming down the line soon. Have a good one, my friends.